Okay, we are live and direct on the Pan-African Daily TV. Let me welcome everyone that is joining or signing into the stream of today, Wednesday, with a special breaking edition. Breaking, it's happening on the continent of Africa, it's happening in the diaspora and worldwide. Our special guest, as you know, for today is Ambassador Dr. Tony Jaja. I mean, now I'm even confused how to introduce him because he keeps grabbing all the titles and awards. And yeah, yesterday breaking, I just had a landed text on my desk announcing that our honorable ambassador has just been awarded and won another world title. And he's going to be celebrating it with us today and explaining and giving us a lot of insight. What is this award all about? So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining in. And I can see you already signing in just a couple of seconds. We're already 40 people. And like I told you, if you see 40, it's 400 people actually watching live and direct. I know you've been waiting for this moment, and particularly on this topic, Africa in the Security Council. I mean, and we know that Ambassador has been talking about this a couple of times, has been predicting about it, has been advocating for it. And he already, even at the first time that he came here on the Pan-African Daily TV, schooled us on the need for Africa to have a seat in the Security Council. And now, when we had him here last time, it just landed that he said, hey, yesterday we had this call answered. But what is it really all about, ladies and gentlemen? Let me welcome you watching. I know you all, the permanent and the honest and humble followers of the Pan-African Daily TV. Let me thank you for tuning in all the time and always on time. And you know what to do. We don't need to talk about it anymore. As you join, click and share the link and invite our brothers and sisters to join us on this special edition. We want to know, what are the opportunities and the challenges ahead of us? How is Africa? We're talking about the leadership of Africa. We're talking about African leaders, African Union. How are they celebrating, or how are they reacting, on this particular incident of having Kenya as a solicitor, or the country that would be sitting in the Security Council to represent the whole continent of Africa and its people worldwide. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a hot topic. It is a hot topic, and I'm very, very happy and honored. You can see me smiling because when I have a guest like Ambassador Jaja, I can go to sleep. I can just put him on camera and I move, and I go for shopping, and I go and eat something when Ambassador Jaja is here. Now I see even everybody saying, yes, he's the right man at the spot. And I really want to thank you. Good evening, Doctor. Good evening, Dr. Tony Jaja.
Good evening, Susan, and all the viewers all over the world. Good evening to you, and good afternoon and good morning to some of them.
Yes. Ambassador, I really, first of all, want to thank you, because it's not every African or leader that would just always jump in when something is really happening, particularly political and world affairs. You are the expert in anything that has to do. I mean, we're even talking about not just political and world affairs, but we're also talking about, strategic outbreaks and happenings and recent development on the continent and in the world. And like I said, I've also been briefed, and I've been seeing it from the I Change movement, from our celebrity and our expert and our leader and our champion, Dr. Clyde Rivers, announcing another series of awards that have been coming. And I just see one recent one coming again. Ambassador Jaja has been. What is this all about? What is this award?
Yeah, this is an organization called Organization of Poverty Elevation and Development. Is based in Sweden, and is part of the United Nations Sustainable Goals Development. uh, and they have created what is called a World Climate Civility Award, and they have appointed me as the Climate Civility Award for not just for Africa but for the whole world too,
Wow.
and because of my effort in the global leadership, because the first time I was recognized as the excellent global leadership, that was in 2011,
Mhm.
and by different part of the organization in US and other part of the world. I received award what is called the excellent global leadership uh, after Joaquim Chissano, the former president of Mozambique. And then in 2018, and I have sent you the video, you have seen the video, when I
Correct.
was being introduced to the world that as a world civility ambassador from the a global civility organization. And this is the part of what we are doing, and has given me a responsibility to be part of the global leaders in Africa and other part of the world. That is why we discuss so much things that concerning the global issues, whether the things that is concerning the United Nations or other organization or other countries who are really doing so much things. And this is the time really we want to work for the climate, because there is a lot of issues. This pandemic, I think there is some good result that has happened for this pandemic, that some oceans are now cleaned and some rivers are cleaned, but still there is a lot of things that to be done for a global climate change, and become one of them now as ambassador for that. And this is what I have to see in Africa, how the climate that is changing a lot of things, that we can work so that we can have a very clean environment
Mhm.
for the continent and for the rest of the world. So we become part of it. Yep.
Okay, and apart from that, you also had the from the I Change Nation an award, World Civility Award. What was that all about? And how do you actually feel when you get an award like this? Does it commit you to get more engaged, or you also say, "Hey, I'm grateful that my engagement has been recognized, particularly from such an honorable organization"?
Susan, you know, when you found something like that and being recognized by the international organizations or international bodies that is connected to United Nations, it's like in 2014, the global what is called the United Nations Global Compact, when I gave the proposals of how nations and neighboring nations can work together for peace, and they went and sent me a letter of appreciation and letter of thanks uh, during the Ban Ki-moon time in 2014, and the co-founder of the global United Nations Global Compact Business for Peace, because they have created what is called Business for Peace, Education for Peace, and Health for Peace, and that is the one that promoting me and giving me more push to work for the global issues, not only for our continent. And that's why you see me always talking about both of it, and is standing for the continent, because our continent representing our world. And when I receive that, it's because of the recognition of what I do globally. And people, you don't just get it, people recommend you. You just get surprised that your name has been nominated. Like in this coming August, I've been nominated to receive what is called Icon of Greatness in this coming August 15
Wow.
in UK, and that is from the Greatness University. They have created what is called a Greatness Award, and I Change Nation is part of it, because I Change Nation is the largest honoring organization, and like you see the other organization who are giving awards and who are like Nobel Peace Prize, but iChange Nation is one of the largest organization of awards, and we have seen it in 120 countries globally. And Professor Livers is the one of is a founder and is a president of that, and he's a spokesman of the civility organization, and he's a civility global leader too. So we work together, and that came based on his recommendations. And I am so thankful for the founder and the president of OPAD. As I said, OPAD means Organization of Poverty Elevation and Development. So because we need to elevate the poverty in Africa and we need to develop the country. So now being a part of the global climate civility ambassador, so it's something that we are going to work very, very seriously to see our continent as a clean continent. We have seen how the environment has been destroyed by these oil companies and others. And because we don't have these big factories and industrial areas like what is happening in China, in America, other places, but still we need to have a clean environment so that that can help us not to conduct many diseases in the country.
Congratulations once more, His Excellency. And yes, you earn it, and we think that you duly deserve it. You duly deserve it. And I'm really thankful that we have this initiative and this iChange Nation that is recognizing and honoring his own people in their area of excellence, and even promoting more engagement. That is a applaudable and laudable initiative that all of us, all Black people in the world, must be grateful and humble and thankful to God actually for that. Now we're going to come back to our topic of today. We've just been being amazed about Africa getting engaged or going to be or to get into the Security Council. And what does this actually mean? Africans don't even understand what it is to own a seat in the Security Council. Are there any opportunities? What is going to change after Kenya is having a seat in the Security Council? Are things just going to be decisions going to be made based also on the development on the continent, or on considering the African point of view, or it's just going to be the same? I mean, thank you for being here. We really want you to educate us on this, the need for Africa to be there. What are the opportunities and the challenges? Over to you, sir.
Chair, you know, the Security Council, since the founding of Security Council in October 1945, and we still, as a continent, the whole continent, is still not a permanent member or a permanent seat member. And that is why they have created another 10 members who are those who are not a permanent members of sitting members of the Security Council.
Okay.
Only the countries, they are the one benefiting, as we have been talking about it all this time: the US and Russia and China, France and UK. So they are the countries that do have vetoes, but the others, even if you go and sit there, you don't veto for yourself. You have to lobby for other countries who have the veto to veto for you, like Russians and all these 5 countries. Since the creation of the Security Council, it is about the interest. It's about who put so much things finance, because it's about the finance. It's about the interest of the people. America do all things for his own interest, and then Russia do all things for his own interest. Even Russia, when he got that seat, the permanent seat, it's called a Soviet Union. But after the union was collapsed, so Russia took the serious one and become a permanent, continue with the seat as a permanent with the veto. and China, the same thing. But the others are still struggling, like India is still struggling to be part of the Security Council permanent seat. And it is about the interests of the countries. And that is why when they have organized themselves and founding that seat for themselves is for their own interests. And the reason why the Security Council was formed is to put a lot of effort and to make sure the global security and peace is 100% all over the
Mm-hmm.
world. And that is why America is putting a lot of things that when you see 200,000 troops of America in 177 countries all over the world, America is putting so much money. This is a part of the security that protecting the interests of America, and that is why they have it all over the world. They have all the bases everywhere. They are part of the NATO. They put a lot of money for NATO to be part of it. Now America want to withdraw some of his troops from there. It want to reduce them now around 9,000 to go back, or 8,500 to go back to US. So Africa is still, even with this non-permanent seat that Kenya has got it now, it's still, it will not help a lot. But the decision makers are these five countries. Now we have Niger, we have South Africa representing us in
Mm-hmm.
the 2021, because now the election of Kenya being elected as a member of non-permanent seat is for 21 to 22. So it's
Mm-hmm.
next year going to start, is going to resume the seat by next year by appointing somebody from their side. Already Kenya has won, but he's going to assign one of their dignitaries that who will, or somebody who have a high profile to go and represent. But
Mm-hmm.
the problem is this, that we are facing, that Africa don't put money. That is a big problem. And I've been fighting for this. Okay, let us have our own security council as Africa Union Security Council, not African Union Peace and Security Council. We have
Mm-hmm.
what is called Peace and Security Council, but we don't have a Security Council like the UN. And always UN, when you see the UN members talking about the Security Council, the sitting members talking about African Union, they talk about African Union as a partner.
Mm-hmm.
So if they are the partner, so how come we are the United Nations? Because Security Council is part of the United Nations organs and is part of this United Nations uh, power machine that is giving a resolution, that is giving sanction to nations. And we have been seeing from time to time putting resolutions and making sanction to nations in Africa, in other places. Even they sanction those other countries who don't go based on their interests. And that is what is bringing the chaos. The things that we are seeing in the turning oil, the turning nations now, that we are seeing nations who are going through the war in Middle East, and we are seeing nations going through the war in Africa. We can talk about Libya still. We can talk about the Biafra. We can talk about Boko Haram. We can talk about Al Shabaab in Somalia. We can talk about South Sudan, who still is struggling to bring peace to his people. And many sanctions has been imposed on them. Security Council giving more sanction. And they said always when they put sanction, they want to make these people to come back into their senses and to bring their permanent peace or permanent a good life to their people. But always things go wrong because there is people who resist. There is people who don't accept that one. Let me come to the reason why the African Union until today, or African as a continent, with this for 54 countries or 56 countries now, or 55 countries, let's say, with the diaspora that has been added as the Eco 6, we are still struggling to have a seat as a members, the permanent members in the Security Council. One reason they have been talking about, that the reason why Africa is not a permanent seat in the Security Council, they say they will not use it for the continent if they have choose one, because they have identified some few countries like South Africa and like Nigeria and like Egypt, because they work based on the reputation of the global engagement. That is why they have mentioned Nigeria. But if we give Nigeria to be a permanent seed, or Egypt or South Africa, we know South Africa is still run by the white supremacy. This the supremacy. The white people are still the one running the economy of the country. It is not about the South African, because after they gave power to Mandela, but it's still the power of the economic is still in the hands of the white people. So that is why always everything that they want to be implemented in Africa has to come through the gate of South Africa. And South Africa always used to implement things. India is still struggling, but I'm now focusing only for African continent. The reason why we are not there. First of all, I said it before, because Security Council put a lot of money to make security for Africa. And African Union don't put a lot of money. America this time, US, they said, we are going to withdraw our funding to the African Union's Peace and Security Council, because they used to pay for our the African Union peacekeeping forces in Darfur, in Somalia. Like now, they have engaged Kenya to be part of it in Somalia, and Uganda to be part of it in Somalia, and the same thing in Congo during the Kabila time, and other places, even in Boko Haram side. And that is why they have even engaged Chad to fight Boko Haram, because this is about a war against the terrorists. And that is why African Union, if we are not going to put our money and to control our own supremacy, or to control our own sovereignty as a continent, that is not going to help us a lot for us to be a permanent seat in the Security Council. Honorable Kofi Annan has been talking about it for years and years, about the reform in the Security Council. Led Mugabe has talked about it. Led Gaddafi has talked about it. And they said, President talk, it is not everybody who attend the program. Everything is just depend on the US. And when the President of America is the one talking, everybody has to be there. Everyone has to be there, because they want to listen and they want to be updated. What is the new instruction for the global policies and the global security, and what funding is going to come from the US. And you have seen even US now has threatened even the United Nations pulling out in 2018 from the Human Rights Council, and pulling out even from the World Health Organization, because they have been putting a lot of money for this funding. And that is why America always is a leading word, is a leading part. And you can connect the Security Council with the US policies, because every country that has been sanctioned by the America, whether they sanction them economically, the Security Council has to back it up, has to put the resolution. If they're human rights abuse, they have to back it up, because America is the one putting money. Now, we are talking about a collapsed global leadership that we have now, because there is no leadership in the world today. Let us be frank. Let us be realistic. There is no global leadership today that is saying we have to do this. Even when they start sanctioning Iran, and these things did not work with Iran. Iran even always, they sanctioned them for years and for years and for years and for decades, but they're still functioning. They're sanctioning, they sanctioned Venezuela not to be engaged with any other countries. But now you have seen they are engaging with Iran. It's about win-win, because you have to work for your interest. But the problem we have in Africa, we don't work for the interest of Africa. We work for the interest of our country. Like what happened now with South Africa, let me say, the reason why Ramaphosa now is a president of African Union, because it has been a lobby by the global leaders, by the international community. so that they want to pass their agenda. And this agenda is one of the agenda is about this pandemic. It's about this vaccine to come through to vaccinate the African people. So that is why even when he was talking uh, in one of the conferences that was conducted by the the leader of the World Health Organization, the same message. It is something written for them, and they start echoing and reading these things into the people and asking the global and international community. And that's why I used to ask always, why are we called the others international? And as a continent of 54 or 55 countries, we are not international. So there is no fair here. We have to work very hard. And that is why our Security Council need to be reformed and African Union need to be reformed. There is a reformation has to come. That African Union has to be reformed. Nations has to sit down. The continent has to sit down, because if we work for the interest of the continent, not the interest of the country, because when you go to the French speaking, always has been backed up by the French. And those who have interest with China, China always veto for them, but there is no free veto here. There is no free veto here. Everything has an interest and has something to be given back. There is nothing free. If America has veto for you, is standing for you, for the countries who want to sanction you in the Security Council, that is mean his interest is number one. Correct. But where is the interest of Africa here? That is why we have really to push this African Union to be reformed. And we want not just only to have a peace and security council, but Africa has to be African Union Security Council, not Peace and Security Council, because that Security Council work to make sure that the continent has peace and has security. That is the mandate.
Good. I mean, it is obvious. I mean, there's nothing even to think about it. And when you look at this situation, first thing everyone is just asking, like, with all the money that this continent is sitting on, where does African Union leaders put their interest? Where do they put their focus and their interest if they would not invest in the global interest of the security of protecting the interests of Africa internationally, like you said? It is so pathetic because these leaders use all these chunks of money to pay for campaigns, to stay in power, just to continue to actually dig away around and just celebrate, like you say, just go hang out there, even on the budget of its own people, pay a whole delegation and take flights into these meetings every December in the United States and drink coffee or whatever and come back under the budget of the people. This is so pathetic. And but let us come, like, how do you really think this can function? What is the way forward? How can we push this agenda in the starting from refurbishing or reforming the African Union?
The African Union has two ways to be reformed. First of all is, and I said it before, is to go back to the agenda of our founding fathers.
Yes.
And the second thing is to work for the unity of the continent, to put the structure, to restructure the African Union to be able to meet the global responsibility, like the security and peace of the continent. If we are going to have a very strong institution of the Security Council of African Union as to be strong and to protect, is to put money. The continent has to put money. And I said it several times with some of leaders in the continent, that we have to put the money to secure the continent. something should be done. Like now, Libya, it was this chaos that we have in Libya, it was a creation of America. America is the one who created all this chaos now we have in Libya. During Gaddafi time, there was no war. But they start accusing him that this man is a terrorist. Because after the last meeting of Gaddafi in United Nations, when he was telling that there is no affair between us as a continent of Africa, some nation has been favored and we are not favored. We just fly all the way, come and meet and go. So that's why we fight for the reform of the Security Council. Now, these things has been pushed for many people talk about it. Just a few days ago, when President Paul Kagame, His Excellency, was addressing the Security Council, he urged them that they should lift the sanction from Sudan and from Zimbabwe.
Mm-hmm.
And that sanction still has not been lifted. And the problem is always that we talk about economic sanction for nation. The word sanction itself is a chaos. Even when you declare sanction for one person, for the president, that you sanction the whole country. You sanction the system, you sanction the whole country. And who will suffer are the people.
Correct.
That is why always we see countries being bankrupt, devaluation of currencies. Like now in Zimbabwe, they are using different type of currencies, not their own currency. And those issues of this economic sanction is the one that is destroying Africa so much. And we have seen how many leaders in Africa who has stolen money and go and put them in the banks outside.
Mm-hmm.
And then they sanction them because of that money. After these leaders are not there, this money don't come back to the country. That is the problem. So when we have the very strong institution of the Security Council of African Union, and now we put money, there is nation who don't put money. That is a problem again.
Mm-hmm.
Membership is a problem. But we have to enforce ourselves with the resources we have to put the money to secure ourselves. Because this continent of Africa need to be secure. All the borders, whether it's sea, ocean, or the land, it has to be secure. The airspace has to be secure. These are all in the global security threat. And that if we don't do that, we will still continue for another years and years and years and years without implementing anything. That has gone for vain for our founding fathers who has talked and who has given us the roadmap for the continent how to function and for this union how to function. Before the late Gaddafi, he was the one who has formed the Security Council, what is now called Peace and Security Council. The last meeting of formation was in Libya before he died. And why? Because he was believing that we can be strong as a continent.
Correct.
He put money. But the greedy leaders we have in Africa, they know how to put money in their stomach. They know how to let their children enjoy. But they don't care about the security of others. That is the big issue that we have now in Africa. Where is this billions and trillions of dollars that has been kept outside belong to the continent? They don't bring it back. They freeze them for good. And that is a chaos that we have. African Union, the only way to be reformed is to restructure the Security Council from Peace and Security Council to be African Union Security Council and put the money. Your friends, the partners, as they call you in United Nations Security Council, you are the partner of the UN, like you are not a member of the United Nations, because Security Council is a part of the United Nations.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't see, if they now choose one country, this country will work for the interests of the continent. Why don't we believe in ourselves? Then putting the weight on our nations, putting on the continent, and build the continent and build our unity. Because if now we are united strong, we can put our money strong. We can build ourselves and protect ourselves. The issue now in Libya, many sanctions has been, the ceasefire, and many people have signed, the Haftar has signed, and the recognized government of the Libya by the United Nations has signed, but still there is war. The arm embargo has been imposed on them, but still you see weapons coming in, big ones, heavy ones. And who are suffering? These innocent people. The vulnerable people are the ones suffering. The elders, the women, children, are the ones suffering. So the only way that we said last time that you should sanction the companies who are supplying them, not to sanction only those who are fighting. Sanction those companies, because these are the multi-billions companies,
Mm-hmm.
are the one benefiting from the war. You are losing life, you are shedding the blood, but they are carrying dollars into their accounts. We have to be realistic here in this place. Who are finishing? Our people. Who are benefiting? Those outsiders. So African Union has to take it very seriously. It's the same thing that what happened in Berlin meeting, dividing Africa. This is what is happening now with the Security Council. 5 members controlling the whole world. 5 countries controlling even India with that population. Controlling the whole continent of Africa with 1.3 billion or 1.5, because we have 355 million people who are in diaspora, and they are part of the African continent. Only 5 countries are the one benefiting. Where is the benefit of Africa here? No. Every time we see regions going to war, sanction. The blocs going to war, they give sanction. When they give sanction to the region, that is a big problem. Because one country fighting, even if it is a civil war, it will affect the region, because region has to involve. It will drain the region. And this is what we have been facing since the founding of the United Nations until today. So we have to wake up and put our resources to maintain our security. That security can maintain our economy. Because if we are secure in the continent, we will be secure economically, and we will be strong economically. Yes, African, they are known as a people who can fight, who cannot fear death and all these things. But the time has come for us to build the continent and secure our people.
Yeah. Thank you, Excellency. I mean, this education is very useful, but it's at the same time so scary. It's annoying. It's a combination of I don't know, it's a combination of frustration, hatred, bitterness, you know, everything that you want to think like this, because there's just no justification. There's just no justification in the first place why African leaders would behave the way they are, and also world leaders, so-called world civilized leaders. And that's why I'm really still coming up to, like, I don't know if billions of or millions of World Civility Institute just teaching people about humanity, about humans. I mean, it is so sick and mad to understand that you're sanctioning a president, a leader of of a country, understanding all the GPD. I mean, including the people, and you know exactly that you're doing that. I mean, it's sometimes you feel actually like, you know, no matter what you do, it's something, it has to define the future of how the people should live on earth. No matter how you struggle to make a change, there's just some hand, invincible hand, that is always just going to distort the change in everywhere. But like you said, it is time for Africa to wake up. Now, do you see the possibility of Africa uniting with its black people worldwide? I mean, with its citizens all over the world, to start actually understanding these issues? Because like I said, the things that you've just lectured and mentored us here, I for one, I speak for myself, and I also know that even the audience is getting like, wow, is this the way it is? Because sometimes we used to ask, why are African leaders just silent to certain issues like the human rights abuse in America of the of late? And now we understand when we listen to your lectures that they can't even say something. Now, when Professor P.L. Lumumba said they are just like a toothless bulldog, now you understand they can't even bark because they have nothing like a collateral. Nothing like a collateral. I mean, so what is the advantage of us even? So from the way you're saying, Ambassador, I'm a little bit really perplexed to the extent like, I'm getting confused now. Is it even necessary for us to actually get Kenya represent in the Security Council? Or, like you said, it's even just better that African Union should have a Security Council on its own?
Yeah, African Union has to be reformed for many things. One of the things that I have said it before, African Union we have to have what is called African Health Organization. That has to be there. This is one of the things, because health organization or health in Africa is a security threat for us.
Correct.
Because we are not controlling our health. That is a security threat for us. Again, if we are not controlling our economy, that is a security threat for us. The second thing, if we are not disciplined enough to stop fighting one another, because all this fight is agenda of others. What we are seeing in the continent is agenda of the others.
Mm-hmm.
And there's there's a war that you can justify, and there's a war that you cannot justify. Like what is happening in Nigeria, this Boko Haram killing Christian, and they said because they believe in Son of God, and they say Son of God is God, that is why they are killing Christian. I have heard one of the leader of the Boko Haram was talking about it, and we have seen in Burkina Faso they went and go and kill Christian in the churches. But who is now behind them? Because when you see the heavy weapon they are carrying, somebody must funding these people.
Correct.
They must do something behind. Somebody is working behind the scene. Let's talk about the Blood Diamond War in Sierra Leone after the Cold War of Soviet Union. What happened? The same military weapons that was in Russia and the Soviet Union, these are the same who have been taken to Sierra Leone to fight one another because of this diamond. And that is why they call it the Blood Diamond. And some personnel were sitting somewhere in these big nations in this Western world, enjoying, and people are dying here. Even in Congo, the same thing. Sitting in this high-rise building, whether in New York, in Las Vegas, or whatever, they are there, or in Italy, they are there. And people are dying here. We don't have a strong organization that is standing for the Africa. That is why it's still the international organization coming in the name of the United Nations, whether it's a World Food Program, whether this is FAO, whether it's Save the Children, whether it's what is called Medicines Sans Frontiers and others, and they are all working for the agenda of those people because they get fund from them. And that is a big issue. Africa doesn't need somebody to feed them from outside. They don't farm them in the star. They don't farm them in the Mars. They don't farm them in the moon and bring them down to you. They farm them in their farms. You have the land, you have water, you can do that. But our greedy leaders, they don't invest in their people. That is a big issue we have. They invest in their stomach, filling their stomach for 1 year, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. But at the end, can you tell me any president that has sat as is a sitting president for 40 years or 30 years and he stepped down? Do you find them enjoying the money they have stolen? No. This money goes to the West. This money goes to the development of America, development of Europe and others.
In France.
That is the truth. People have to speak it out. And we have seen the children of Mobutu Sese Seko. Where are they now? Are they enjoying the luxuries what they used to enjoy before? No. Sani Abacha? No. Why? Because this money, you have stolen them from the country, from your people, making them to live with hunger, with sickness, with disease, being refugees running from country to country. And at the end, you will not enjoy the money. Because this money, wherever you put them, you will not get them. By the time you step down or by the time something happened in the country and you're not leader anymore, you find yourself zero. You save down account zero, whether in Swiss Bank or in Dutch Bank or in Frankfurt Bank, in Germany or in UK. That is going to be zero. That's why let us invest the money inside. Build a school, build houses, build road, clean water. Let us build our own health organization. Let us build our own economy. That is why even the African Development Bank is not owned by African. The total continent is 25% in that bank. And the rest are China, Exim Banks, and others from Europe. Still, you have the bank to develop, but somebody's the one benefiting. That is the crazy thing we have. African, you have to wake up. This is the time that really we have to wake up. We have to work for the continent because Africa is a future of this world. The issue of this climate change we are talking about, you have seen the melting ice. What is going to happen? There will be more ocean. There will be more water. There will be cities to be wiped out. Pollution, sickness. But Africa is still virgin and is still clean until today. The only problem we have is this war that we have and people are using chemicals, fighting one another. This is a problem we have. Another climate problem we have that destroying our environment. These are the Chinese who are they're exploring our oil and they don't have a system to clean the West. This is the problem we have in Africa. We have to put money. We have enough trillions of resources underground, untapped resources, minerals resources, still virgin.
Thank you so very much. It's like, yeah, It's like I said, the more you hear really the challenges, the more it looks like it's impossible to do. What apart from this kind of leaders, like we know that they're going to be unshakable for a while. What is it that the common African person can do? In terms of just Africans. I don't know, even starting, like you said, we need Africa health security, we need Africa food security, of course. And if you look at all these organizations, there's nothing about Africa in it. It's going to be a World Health Organization, World Trade Organization, United Nations. It's all just like Africa is not surfacing in anything that has to do with international. Now, but like you have always called and advised, it is time for Africans to take their lives into their hands, and we make the best out of it. Coming in on this topic, the wars and the tribal wars, and like you like the peace ambassador. We're talking about Pan-Africanism. We're talking about conflicts that are currently going on the continent. Last week we had an I guess who's called us, and actually you had said that a couple of times here, but he still actually articulated it, and like the biggest enemy of Africa is France in terms of insecurity and the wars on the continent, and he elaborated on the issue of all the 19 conflicts that are currently very active on the continent, even as South Sudan and Somalia, that is not actually a colony, a French African colony, but in any way, you can still see the invincible hand of France engage in these conflicts. And like, yeah, and like he said, out of the 19 wars or conflicts that we're having on the continent, 17 of them are in the French-speaking African countries. And like everyone was just like, so if we know that we have an enemy, and particularly on what you're saying, all our resources, and we've been hearing even Dr. Arikana, your colleague, saying 500 billion leaves the continent, or million leave the continent of Africa every year into the French coffers. So could we say that in terms of this insecurity and the inability of Africa being in the Security Council like a member, France can just walk in and do anything that they want, and they're making all these millions because of the wars?
You see, as I said, the Security Council is based on their own interests. French, after they have given nations, the Western world, the Germany, the French, the Portuguese, the British, and Italy, as they said in Berlin, they came with another way, another trick, and come back again to colonize Africa through the economic. That is why you have seen always they sanction them. If you look into this issue, economic sanction, every time is about economic sanction.
Mm-hmm.
And when you try to build your own country, you are the threat to them. You are the threat to the Western world. Like when Gaddafi was talking about using the gold as a currency, it became a threat to the dollar. And that is the issue we have in Africa. But I said before, this pandemic has exposed a lot of things, and the world is not going to be the same anymore. People now, they have known who are the true friends for them and who are the true enemy for them. Again, the uprising of the Black community everywhere in the continent, as you have seen after the death of George Floyd. the world is not going to be the same. The liberation of the black community in America, this is going to be a liberation of the continent of Africa.
Correct.
And that is what we have to support, to stand with. I have seen Minister Luis Farhan and Reverend Archons. They are going to lead a marching in this coming August. And they are determined this time for change, not only a painkiller that African or the black community has been given. Because when you've been taking painkiller for long, it will not cure you. The pain will still coming back. But this time, the whole black community are determined for change. And we have seen that is happening. The change in the US is a change of the continent. The change in UK is a change of the continent. Even in France, you have seen even in Germany. And this is an uprising. It's not going to stop.
Ambassador, there is what you're saying is very pertinent because I mean, we've just been seeing even African parliamentarians in the EU Parliament and in the parliaments out of Africa. I mean, like black parliamentarians that are in the parliament that are being attacked now. And I still don't understand if even our parliamentarians are aware of the fact that this is a clear message that even the Western world is sending out to Africa. You need to go and build your continent. It doesn't make any absolute sense for
it is very clear because Susan, when Burkina Faso urged the Human Rights Council to sit and to invest, to negotiate and to debate about the human rights abuse in America, what did the leadership in America say, especially the Secretary of State? They said America cannot be investigated, and he is a member. How come? You should not be investigated. You are the member of the global. So you can investigate others, but when it's come to you, you don't want to be investigated. And this is about the human rights abuse. And that is showing, that is the indication that this even United Nations is not going to stand when there is no reform. Because people will start saying it, we are not going to stand with you. America, by the ICC, he said he's going to sanction the ICC members. The economic sanction is going to sanction them financially. Why? Because they have asked, they have to bring those who have violated human rights in Iraq, in Syria, in Afghanistan, and other places. But they say, no, we should not give you our people. We should not hand over our personnel to be judged by the ICC. But there is a chapter. There's a chapter there in the United Nations, because this International Criminal Court is to judge everybody. Nobody has a veto for it. Nobody has a right to say no, not to be imposed on that one. Now, if America is refusing, and he's now sanctioning nations because of the human rights abuse and others, so what he's doing now for his people is abusing the human right. It's a violation of the human right by allowing the white supremacy police to kill the black people in the broad light, in the daylight. People are dying, and now you say these things should not be. People should not enter into your internal affairs, but you are entering into affairs of others, like what he's doing in other places. There's a lot of chaos If Iraq now is not going to have peace, it is because of America. It was because of George Bush. It was because of Tony Blair. And even Tony Blair has admitted himself and say, I have been confused by George Bush, and I am confessing now. Confessing means you have committed something. That is, you believe that what you have done, it was wrong. But who will bring UK to the international law or to the international court? Who will bring America to international court? Who will bring France? And that is why this permanent seat is needed by the African continent. So that we have to beat up for ourselves. We have to stand for our right. Nobody should come and say, no, you are abusing, you are violating the human right, and you don't want to admit that you have done it to your people. You consider yourself, you are a god of the whole world, and the others are your servants. That is so wrong. Nobody is unacceptable. Nobody will accept it this time. And that is why I say the liberation of the Black community, wherever they are, is a liberation of the continent of Africa. That is why you see our leaders are still silent until today. They don't want to talk because they are watching the march. They say that whether this thing is going to succeed or not, it's going to succeed. It's going to succeed. You have seen thousands and thousands going out, and they are not going to keep silent until the liberation has to come out.
I totally, absolutely agree with you. This idea until the whole, I think the whole African nation is stronger, Africans would suffer injustice worldwide for eternity. That is absolutely true. When you look at just the image, sometimes carrying an American passport, even when you are a Black, in those days, not now, it was a prestige. It was like you're a different kind of a citizen because of the pride of that nation. And so we are seeing that irrespective of what a Black person you are, be you a parliamentarian, be you, I don't know what kind of titles or positions we're having out of Africa, until Africa is strong enough, its citizens would suffer this weakness. So the entire weakness of the continent is the entire weakness of the Black man everywhere, and even our children. And we keep complaining, and we keep talking, and we keep looking for solutions, and we keep advising ourselves to be like. And sometimes you ask yourself, it's a lot of courage. To be honest with you, Dr. Tony Jaja, I look at it, I appreciate people that do it. I have nothing against it. But sometimes I said Africans, we're just too courageous to even sit in this parliament and struggle to tell Europeans how to live their lives or how to reform their community, well, when our own is really so shaky. I mean, sometimes I really like, it's enough of courage out there, people, because you're talking about that and you don't have a reference, and they don't look at what kind of good can come from Nazareth, like we said, and you want to come here and lecture to who? So I think your global call cannot be sounded much more every day. Keep saying we need to build our own. Africans, build back Africa. Give the power that we all deserve. And everything, even about all these negative narratives, everything would just follow. A nation that is strong, the roots are strong, the branches just thrive. But when the roots, there are no roots even. As a matter of fact, we don't even have roots with this kind of leadership that we have. How do we even expect the tree to stand, talk less of the branches and the leaves? This tree doesn't even have roots yet. No roots. Okay? Of course, you said it and you analyzed it last time. Of course, we have the roots. Let us just go back to our history. Let us just go back to all these things that we left. like the Organization of the African Union. What was the declaration? What was the declaration of the founding fathers before it was changed? If we just go back, I mean, of course, we're going to adapt, some trends to fit the current situation in the world today. But why should we allow our own and want to just copy something that doesn't work for us? We are not making guns, Ambassador Jaja. Hey, we are not creating, no factory on the continent of Africa produces weapons. That's why I agree absolutely with you that these countries that are supplying, or these mega companies, we have one here in Germany that produces arms. I can't tell you how many times people go and sleep there, and Germans and hold all sorts of rallies against this kind of deadly people, because they're the ones that are creating. And the fact that you create a product, you need to have customers for it. So there must be permanent war on the continent to keep this kind of crazy people in business. And they're the ones flying private jets and putting monies into the system. And so why would, even people are dying on the street like flies, they can stand and already say happily with no fear of concern, because they already know what is going to happen. Ambassador, we want to thank you so very much. And I'm opening up the lines for contributions, for impressions, for questions directly on this topic. I mean, it's frustrating as it is. But on the other side, like Dr. Tony said, of course, we need to be damn angry. We need to be so angry. These things have to make us pump our energy out until we look for a solution. Like as if we need to be killed and killed. I'm picking the questions of each, as if we need to be killed all over the world before we will learn to go and build our continent. This is absolutely, unfair. Hello?
Hello. Yeah, this is helpful.
Yes. Charlotte, we're doing absolutely okay. We are on the journey of building the Africa we want, and nothing is going to stop us. We're fine.
Absolutely. I'm so excited that Jaja is here today again.
Yes.
I'm always thrilled and happy seeing him, because he's one true man after the Gaddafi that I have seen actually for the interest of Africa.
Correct.
And I pray for God bless him and God protect him for us and God save him, because these pink people, they don't actually want people who stand up for Africa. They want to eliminate you. But by the power of God, you will not be eliminated. You will build the Africa that will work for us. I have 3 questions actually for Dr. Jaja. So my question is that can Africa sue America for unlawful killing of Muammar Gaddafi? That is question number 1. Then question number 2, why is it that the African brothers did not help Gaddafi at that time when these pink people were coming after him, and they watched Gaddafi die like an animal? They watch these pink people who are very hungry of blood, assassinated him for nothing. Why did the leaders not help Gaddafi at that time? And the 3rd one, which is the last one, do you feel some sense of remorse? The African leaders, do they feel sorry for not helping Gaddafi? So those are my questions.
Thank you very much, Charlotte. Okay.
The last question is what? The last one.
What?
Okay, the last question is that the African leaders, did they regret for not helping Muammar Gaddafi, for not helping him? Get him out of Libya.
Okay.
So
yeah, I think that is a good question that you ask. There's a lot of things are going to be put on file. It's not only about the death of Gaddafi. the deaths of Thomas Sankara, Patrick Lumumba, and most of the people who stood to the continent and they want to build a better future of their people who have been assassinated. These things is going to be filed. It's not going just to go for vain because they are our people. They are our members. They are our founding fathers of nations. And this is going to happen when we have the strong institution that is going to happen, that is going to stand. The question why the African leaders did not stand, they have advised them not to invade Libya. But the Western world has done it without even respecting the sovereignty of the continent. Mm-hmm. And what Hillary Clinton said, we are protecting our interests. What is that interest? Resources and the oil. That is what we have now today in Libya. What Gaddafi has done in Libya, nobody else is going to do it. Because Gaddafi was so strong enough to control his oil revenue, his resources, the golds and others, and building houses to his people, roads. When you see Libya before Gaddafi death and the Libya of today, it's like a ghost city. Mm-hmm. African Union, these are the people that we stand. As I said, African leaders, they have given them advice, especially Obama. And that is why Obama said, the only things that I have done wrong in my 8 years of leadership in America in 2 terms is the killing of Gaddafi. He is regretting, he knows that because he is brother. The reason why they have not used Bush to kill Gaddafi, why? And now they use Obama because they know Obama is an African, and Africans are killing themselves. Arab, they used to say, let the slave kill themselves. Let the black man kill the black man. And I know nobody has a good heart in that time for the continent of Africa, who dream for the good Africa, the established Africa, than Gaddafi himself. Mm-hmm. All the presidents, all these nations of Africa, they have tested the resources of Libya. Gaddafi has built roads for them, as funding. Even the first money of the African development man, who put the money, who established the bank, who put the deposit, it was him, Gaddafi himself, because he was dreaming for the better Africa as the continent. He was not dreaming to be a president of Africa, but he was dreaming, let us have one military, let us have one currency, let us have one security for the continent. That is one of the reasons they decided, let us get rid of him, because the others are so coward, they will not talk. If we kill Gaddafi, they all will go silent. But now there is no silence anymore. Everybody is going to talk now. All the leaders, they are going to come out to talk and point the black dots on whatever has happened to the continent. This is not a time people have to silence. This is a time that people have to talk to protect the sovereignty, not only for each country, but for the whole continent of Africa. We have the power to say yes. We have the power to say no. And that is why we are encouraging our African brothers and sisters in America, let them stand strong for the liberation of the black man. Yes, you have been taken there as a slave, but this is the time for you now to rise up. As I said it before, the Lion of Judah is rising up. We are a kingship, we are royal priesthood, and we are royal people. Nobody has to tame with us. We have left ourselves to be in play with all this time. But no more. No more. white supremacy? No. It is finished and it's done. If the liberation of America is there, the UK will go silent, let me tell you. The French will fear. The German will fear. The Spanish will fear. The Italian will fear because their father or their boss is now down and have to bring the world back to restructure how to govern ourselves. This is what is going to happen.
Okay. We take the next question. Hello? 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 Yes, you have to turn up. Can you turn up the other volume so we can hear you? Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Mr. Jaja, my question for this evening is, I have three questions, please, so get me one. What is the meaning of human rights? And as we see how the way Americans sanction countries like Africa, many countries in Africa and Arab countries, and they say the human right, and we see how the way they treat our peoples in America, centuries and centuries, and nothing has happened for that issue. I want to know that. And the secondly is how the secondly is which leader, the leaders are there now in Africa, which one is your favorite one to be a president for Africa, if it is possible? You know? And the last one, I can't get it, the point very well, so I will leave this one for next time. Okay. And I wanted to end in this way. If Malcolm X resists, do you think that he will call Obama as a theotom?
What?
The last one?
What did you say again? The last one?
The last one. If Malcolm X he resists, is alive now, do you think that he will call Obama as a theotom, Mr. Tom?
What is Mr. Tom, please?
Yeah, Mr. Tom. Yeah, Mr. Tom, because Malcolm X, his book, the Black Man Boy, he spoke so that those days the blacks in America, we have two blacks, different blacks, which is the blacks who don't work in the jungle, which is the camp, and those blacks who live in a house. So those blacks who don't live in a house, which is them who don't working for house workers, that those people are who then when they see that the white man house burning, then they said they will kill themselves to offer the light, offer the fire for the white man. But the black man, the one who work in the bush, when he see that fire, he would like to put more fire on that house. So those blacks who don't live in that, who work in the house, they give them a little bit school, they dress them nice, and then they put them in front of the blacks, say that he's the leader of the blacks. So he called those people Theotom. So I particularly think that this guy, Obama, is the most foolish person which we blacks haven't tried in this world. So if Malcolm X was resist, he will call him Theotom. That's the way they paint him.
Okay.
That's why I'm asking you if you get my point.
Yes. Thank you very much. All right. Over to you, Ambassador. The first one was, what is the meaning of human right? And the second one, if you would choose to articulate that, who is your favorite African leader for now that you think could be an example? And the third one, if Malcolm X was alive, would you think he would refer former President Obama as Theotom?
Yeah. human rights, when they founded the Human Rights Council in 1948, it was every race born is equal. Council is about the equality in 1948. So there is no somebody who is favored than other human being. We are all equal. We have the same right. Born is equal.
Sorry.
So that is the meaning of the human right. But America, because they have moved out from it in 2018, but they have been violating the human right for many years, not just from these 2 years back. And we have seen it, what they have done to our brothers and our sisters in America there. That is human right abuse. So you cannot be a guardian of the human right globally while you are not practicing in your own home.
True.
Let your people see a human right. Let your people see justice equal. You should see them as human. But they see themselves now as white supremacy, as the human, and the others like the animal. They can be killed anytime. They can be destroyed. They can be jailed. They can be done. They can invade nation and destroy nation because they are white supremacy. They are above everybody. The issue of Obama, you want to bring the field Negro and house Negro. The answer for Obama was just a COO of the White House. Again, Obama was not, his ancestors were not a slave in America. His father went from Kenya as a student, and he got married there, and Obama was born. Obama originally is from Lua, from Kenya. That's family back there.
Okay, good. So we go over to the next question. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
And they have all these degrees. My sister. First one, let's go to IMF. You know, in Ghana, before, I'm from Ghana, Kofi Annan was the UN Secretary General. Kofi Annan cannot quit UN Secretary General to become an African chairperson or a Ghanaian president because he is international. Okay, let's put it there and go. We know 2019, December, the European chairperson of European Parliament election going on, and we was there. We know this woman before now she's former chairperson or president of IMF. And she comes from France. And this woman lost this position, tried to come to contest to the European president. And this woman is, what she is doing is international. She go everywhere, every country is international monitoring fund. So she know everything, what everything is doing. Let's put it there. Mostly we are talking about France. France are taking money from Africa and all those countries. Let's go back and look. When do they create this international monitoring fund? And the leader is France. She comes from France. So the question is, that this woman don't know what is going to Africa, and she go every country and into details to their finance. And France are killing Africa. So it's many things, my sister, we have to pay attention. What we are doing, we are fighting for our freedom. We don't against anybody. But it cannot be that black people is illegal from everywhere. And my third one is human rights. Our leaders create this races everywhere. What is the meaning of embassy? These embassies, for example, Ghana have embassy long time in Britain. So when we are talking about human rights, British can come to Ghana, and when Ghanaians go there, they call them illegal. They will try to say that they didn't come to the right way. But we know the first British who came to Ghana. That's why it's always we have to go back and check our history. If you don't know who you are nothing, my sister. That's why they are killing our brothers in America and everywhere. And in Europe, they don't kill you. Police don't kill you. They not kill you. If you are young, you come here, they will detain you until you are 50 years. They give you a chance to go and work. That is how the test is going. And we have, even if you look in Germany, you look at where the Ghana embassy lives. It costs much of money. It is good. It is good, but how long? It is international mission. And how many years do we have an embassy in Germany? And if it's international mission, we have to look back how many Ghanaians are suffering if they don't have schools, they don't have water, they don't have electricity. So It is good that we always have to come together and then we plan. And the most thing is, what is Africa is 54 continent. Africa cannot have just a president. Independent president can go every African country. Accountability for the benefit of African people. But African president go here next year, go here next year. Every African country have problem, and even the president cannot solve the problem. And he have to solve African problem, my sister. How can we move forward?
Okay.
It's good that we have to plan together to have African Union. African Union is there. Africa is big. Have African military, African Union military, African Union president, independent president, and all these countries. Because Ramaphosa is chairperson. Receiving money from the South African presidency and receiving money from the African chairperson, and even he don't do nothing for African people. And even in his own country, he don't do nothing, my sister. We know all this.
Okay, my brother. Do you have a direct question on this topic of security, Africa being a member of the Security Council?
Yeah, I have ideas, but that's why I'm saying it.
All right.
For example, my sister, Africa have the youngest population in the world. And we know that there is no 90-year-old, 70-year-old is a soldier.
That's true.
When we have in Africa, we invite foreign soldiers to fight. And even, sister, it's simple. Africa don't make bomb, they don't make any gun. And we have African people, they are terrorists in Africa. Because we have a foreign military to fight these people.
Correct.
That's why we have to have a rare African Union president, independent president that not belong to any country.
Yes, that is not a president.
Yeah, my sister, it is very simple.
Okay.
Cannot be possible that Ghana, even West Africa, alone.
All right, brother. We have to open up the lines for others to pick the question. Thank you so much for your contribution. Yeah. Ambassador, I don't know. I think we lost you before you finished the other answer about Obama. Do you still want to conclude on that before I take you over to take the next question?
There is one question that I did not answer and then I went off because he was asking, he was saying that who do you see that to be a president now for Africa? Yeah, correct. We have many examples that those who are.
Just hold on, Ambassador. Let's take this other question so that you can complete and answer them. Because when they call from far, they can't stay on because of their airtime. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Yeah, my name is
from Australia. Please, can you speak a little bit louder? Your volume is too low.
Okay.
All right, now it's better. Yes. Yes, it's okay.
Yeah, my name is Camilo. I'm calling from Australia.
Okay.
Is it clear now?
Yes, it's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for your guest, Dr. Ambassador Tony.
Yes.
He's a man, we know him. We knew him a long time ago since we were in Australia.
Okay.
He's a pastor. He's a very great musician. We love him. We always speak the truth from his mind. My first request is, please, can you bring more people like Tony to speak up in this program? Because this is the first time to find this program. But I'm happy with the program.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm really, really very happy. Even the way you are hosting the program, I love it. I hope you can continue with that spirit. Because always I like people. I don't like empty speaking and then tomorrow people they have to go and sleep without doing something. No, people have to speak, agree to something, and take the action.
Correct.
This is how human being can go. My question to Dr. Tony: after we knew the problem, after we knew the disease, can you give us what is the way forward from now?
Okay.
Ordinary person like me, what can he do to take us in action? This is only my one question because I don't want to speak a lot. I'm supposed to ask many questions, but I want action. I don't want to speak things and then no action. What is the way forward after we know the disease? We know the problem. We already know what was wrong. And okay, I'm asking only what the way forward.
Okay. Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. And you guys stay safe out there in Australia. And even next week, we're going to be having a guest from Australia to tell us about the African community there and the challenges that you guys are facing out there in terms of, you know, how do you in turn to also contribute in building the Africa we want. Okay. So stay tuned. Thank you so very much. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you too. Yeah. Okay. Ambassador, I know you've been answering it all the time, saying this is what we need to do. This is what we need to do. But the question is always going to come like, you know, what kind of concrete solutions should the young people be looking for? I don't know, in terms of like, should they just start moving back? Should we start having a memorandum of seeing how we can they can support to reform this African Union, like the last caller who said, isn't it just not funny that we should countries representing as chair? There should be a neutral body that has no interest, you know, as a head of state of a particular country. Over to you.
Yeah, As I said before, I think because I think my brother from Australia did not attend other interview that we have been talking about the Africa we won and the reason why we are calling for the United Africa. And I said this is the time. There is no other time that we will find because we don't want to spend another 50 years or 100 years for us to come as a continent and to unite ourselves. The disease of Africa, it has been diagnosed. And the medicine is we have it ourselves as a young people. Nobody will cure Africa except the young people, and with the vision, with the right mindset, that to love the continent, because we have been criticizing our people and not bringing solution. And that was one of the sickness that we have in Africa, a disease that has been facing us for years, generation after generation. The West is one of the disease for Africa. Those who still calling themselves they are masters of Africa. But the good thing now, we are getting healed from these masters, Western world, the white supremacy, and Africa is going to be better. And as I said, Africa is the future of the world. We are going to be strong, and we are pushing to have our own currency as the African Union has passed the resolution that 2023 that we will start with our own currency as the Africa. And I have given the proposal one time that Africa it doesn't need to be run by one president, but it can be run first until we merge together, until we understand one another in the continent as a council. So Africa has to be governed by council. The ECOWAS has to be represented by one person. The SADC has to be represented by one person. The East Africa has to be represented by one person. The Horn of Africa, the Northern Africa, and the Central Africa. And then we have the ECO6, the diaspora, has to be represented by one person. And that has to be equal powers for the council to lead the union. And this is what's supposed to happen. Because electing every year a new chairman or 5 years for the chairperson of African Union to run like a secretary general, that is not going to help the continent.
Correct.
Because now we are merging for internal trade. We are merging now to have a trade among ourselves that will make our economy to be strong. First of all, we have to restructure our education first. As I said, we have to have our own health organization. We have to have a roadmap to build our economy as a continent, not as a country, as a continent. And this is what will make us to compete with the international body who is outside there, who are leading the economy of this world. Because we have everything. The resources we have, the minerals we have, other nations don't have. There is a nation who doesn't have even resources, but their economy is very strong. But we have everything. But the time has come where we have to stand for our continent and to say enough is enough and to hold our resources and to be accountable for it, not to allow other people, because there is some group of business community, international business, multi-billionaires companies who want to wage a war for another 30 years. So Africa has to be on war for 30 years so because they need resources. But are we going to allow them to do that? No. That is what is called the Stone Age, but we are not in the Stone Age. We are now in 21st century. We know what is right for us, what is good for us, and what is not good for us. We are not going to allow these multi-companies or multi-billion companies to come and rip us again. We have seen what they have done in Congo since the independence of Congo. We have seen what they have done in Sierra Leone. We have seen what even the war in South Sudan is a war of resources. It's not war of tribalism. It's not war because President Kiir or Riek Machar. It is a war of resources. Who will manage the resources? That is why they team up, the Western world, they team up and create the chaos by saying, bring the reform in the country. The country who just got independent, even just ran the country for 8 months and went back to the war with the country that they got independent. In 2 years, they went to the war among themselves. And that chaos is a Western world. I said it before. I'm not just saying it to you now in the TV here, why people, but I said it to them. I told them before, you are the cause of the war for South Sudan. They are the one. They are the cause of the war in Libya. They are the cause of war even in Central Africa, in Congo. They are the one. Nobody should deny that. So we have to stand as an African and to say enough is enough and to build the continent. We are still, as a continent, a virgin continent with all the resources we have. We can use it. We can build the economy. We can build a better, strong military for ourselves because we have been there for them before. The black community, the black people has been dying in those wars, in the First World War, and the Second World War. What else? In many civil war of nations, they have been used as a human shell to die. But now we have to defend ourselves and to be strong for our continent. That is the answer. The one who said, who can be a president of Africa, as I said, it is going to be run as a council. And that is a proposal we have as a council until we merge, until we understand ourselves with the diversity we have. Because this is the only continent where you find thousands of languages being speaking out.
Correct.
In this continent. And we have the same culture. It is easy for us to merge. We have the same culture. Whether it's West, North, and South, and even if they have different type of religions, this is the dogma. It's going to finish. The political dogma is going to finish, and now it's vetting now. The religious dogma is going to finish. That has brainwashed the mind of people, that has controlled the mind of people, is going to finish now. And we are going to be real people for ourselves as Africans.
Wow. Okay, Ambassador, we have to take up this other question, but because you're just talking about this topic, let me announce to our viewers that tomorrow is going to be another hot topic with Maponga. Oh my God, Maponga Joshua and the third Mara of Zimbabwe, and he's gonna exactly crack on this topic you're talking about. And the topic is gonna be: did Jesus die for Africa? Did Jesus die for Africa? It's gonna be another heated one, like you're saying. I'm just throwing out this announcement before I take this other question. Like you say, all this religious dogma that has put Africans, you know, while they manipulate and they're stealing all the minerals and controlling everything, then they give us something to calm our mind, to focus on that. Why they take the natural, then they give us the sky, that something is going to fall off from the sky and build Africa for us. So Joshua is going to dissect that with his opinion. And hey, tune in. Tomorrow is going to be another heated one. And with Maponga Joshua. Now, let me take this question, Ambassador, please. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes. I'm sorry for keeping you waiting. Go ahead.
Oh, no problem. No problem. I understand we are in a very hot topic and everybody has a lot to say because of the feelings all Africans are having.
Correct,
so
correct.
I have a question for Ambassador.
Yes.
You know, Africans, there's no doubt that we need to unite. I mean, unity it's a must right now for us to be able to move forward. But I feel like the main stumbling block in some of these our heads of states that are Western and Asian puppets. So we are here talking about how to unite, and because they have their fat accounts in outside accounts, and they're just laughing at us. Look at these people. I'm not going to give out my money or anything. I'm good. I don't care about you. How do we deal with those heads of state? Because most of these people, it's all corruption. They're all corrupt, and they're scared to give up the power or to unite with other Africans because they wouldn't have dared, just like Gaddafi, who refused, and even other people from different countries. So the question is, how do we deal with these African states that are in puppets? Hello?
Yeah, the problem is not, let me just answer you just in one word. The problem is not our leaders. The problem is the Western world, is the dogma.
Mm-hmm.
Is the dogma that they have been used, the politics. And that is why even Paul Kagame, one time he was addressing his officers and he said, I have done my part. And I know anytime these people, they can kill me. But you have to stand as young people for the nation. Why did he say that? Because anybody who wants to build Africa is a problem, is a threat to the West. Because if Africa is stand now, you will see the Western world will be like a ghost cities. Nobody even will fly. Even if they give you a 10 passport and say, you African man, take this 10 passport and go to Europe, you will refuse. Why? Because they are benefiting from the resources. Whatever beauty you see in the West is the beauty of the African continent. Resources, nothing else. Our leaders are about to lose the chain that has been tied with them because the voices are going up. The young people are talking and we are the voice for them. The Western world has nothing to do with Africa after this pandemic. The game has changed. You have to understand that. Read. Let me encourage you. Read the news, follow the news, and read the history. I said it in one time. The Africa is rising, and Africa has wake up from the sleep, and nobody will tie it down again. It is finished, and it is enough. We had it for hundreds and hundreds of years, but now the time has come. Our leaders are not the problem. Who taught them to open accounts outside the Western world? Who came in the name of Friends of Nations, in the names of NGOs to help? You have to calculate very well. If the Western world want to help you, giving you funding of 1 billion, you have to make sure he will get trillions out of you. So now we have understand the game, and the game is over. That is my answer to you.
Perfect answer. Perfect answer. But I'm very excited, Ambassador. This one is coming actually from my own end here. This 2023 agenda for common currency on the continent, is it just an idea that they would start, or are we saying that it is already something after the pandemic that they're going to go into discussion, and which actually means that 2023 should be already the launch, or just still the idea? Before you answer that, let me pick up this question, please, because that one was from my own part. Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Yes, yes.
Good evening, Madam Susan.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much for your effort towards the development of Africa as a whole. And let me also thank Ambassador Jaja for his presence today. I have had some occasion before with you, and I am very glad today that you are actually with a guest that is referring to my area of concern as far as your program is concerned. So the fact is that each time that I see or I hear my African brothers and sisters actually talking in your program, my heart beats Why? It is not afraid. I am a stubborn man, but I have spent so many years, like 2 decades in Western world. I grew up in Western world. I know them. I know their behavior, and they know our behavior also. Let me not say that we are too smart to know their behavior alone. So the fact that we are coming up with whatever they can understand, it is a fruitless attempt towards the development of Africa. So instead, I would send a video to you when Bill Clinton said somebody has to be a victim in order for you to be happy as a winner. So the fact is that they don't take it easy when they see anything that will make Africa to develop, to change for the good. They don't take it easy, and it's not negotiable among the Western leaders. So me as a person, I wouldn't mind. I told you I could work with you if you open your arms. I can buy a flight ticket and come down to Germany. You told me you live in Germany. I can come down to Germany, pay for my hotel, spend a couple of days with you, bring up policies as an economist, bring up policies that will help Africa. I can do that.
Okay.
And it will work effectively. It will work effectively. I am your brother. It will work effectively. When you have that time for me, then I want you to discuss with me on a private basis. Then you said, my brother, look for a time or schedule a time, come to me and spend 1 or 2 days. I won't give you anybody, any financial burden. It's just for me and you to sit down one-on-one, then I will give you some policies. I will say, these are the policies, and this is how it works. Because before the China became who they are today, they planned secretly. Before the Western nation, they realized what they were doing. They already went far. So today, you cannot draw them down. It is not possible because they have understood and they have stolen a lot of ideas, and they cannot be drawn back anymore. So this is what Africa has to do: a center of policy that is confidential for Africa, and for that policy center will be managed by Africa intellectuals around the world, and this will be very confidential for Africa. Even when this result or the funding of whatever research and development they embark on is being executed, nobody will say, nobody will understand where these are coming from.
Okay. Brother, what I'm sorry, I don't want to break you, but because exactly this is the point that you're saying, so you don't even need to explain it more here, because it's exactly what you're doing, just what you don't want us to do, isn't it? So I will hook up with you. We're going to have this places are opening up now. Let us make an appointment, okay? You mustn't come to Germany. I can also come to the continent. We want to build Africa, so we don't need to buy any flight to leave the money here.
All right. Yeah,
okay.
I live in Europe anyway. I live in Europe. So
okay, so that's cool. No problem.
Yeah.
Let's hook up with this after the show, okay?
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I look forward. Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hello. Hello.
Hi. Good evening. How are you?
Fine. Thank you. Good evening.
Okay. I'm online.
Yes, we're online. You're live.
Okay. First, my regards to the honorable ambassador sitting right there. I'm honored to hear voices like his, actually airing out the truth the way it's supposed to be. Yeah, I'm really honored. Yeah, and I'm happy. Even in telling that even if I die today, I'm happy that the truth is out there and we are listening to the way it is.
Okay.
And another caller did actually ask a question, the way forward. Okay. And in my own view, I think the way forward is for people like you, bringing more people like honorable ambassador out there to actually sit and talk to us and tell us the truth. Because we have been misled in any way that we can look at. From religion, just imagine part of us that is supposed to build us to become who we are, religion. Okay? which is an institution, has a deception in it, then it becomes a problem. Then we know we have an issue that we have to deal with. We have systematic issues that we have to deal with all through. Okay?
Correct.
So I'm really happy to see honorable people like this coming on to actually tell us that we have issues that we need to take other routes and not the current routes that are in place, because the current routes are a deception. All through they are a deception. So we need to come up with new routes and new ways to look at life. Thank you very much, and I'm honored to actually have been given the opportunity to talk. And I appreciate the honorable, and thank you for the program. I am honored. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Remember, the program for tomorrow is going to be exactly what you're talking about. And the question is, did Jesus die for Africa? I mean, it's not just the topic or the name, but the mentality is going to be a mind-blowing, like we're saying. And it's the same thing Ambassador is saying. We have been doing things. We have been existing. We have been coexisting even with our Western partners. We have been having these influences. It has never worked in the interests of Africa. So why don't we try something new? Why don't we go back and try other systems that we never thought it was? If we have been doing the same things with no result for our human development, for economic, for political development, something is just not right. Why don't we start a new Africa after the pandemic? The world just shut and the old world is gone. In every system, in every economy, worldwide, the systems have rebooted. He said it last time. I learned this word reboot from him. The systems are now rebooted. You understand? Why not Africa? Africans, we cannot be doing the same thing and expecting different results. That is called madness. Madness. If the things that we were doing, it didn't work, let's take a plan B and try it out for ourselves. After all, we have nothing to lose because we've already tasted just the negative side. Let us try something and we see. Now we're comparing both things than just stay on the lane. Okay, so I really like that kind of impression and the way you're saying. And I know our brother from Australia is on again, and like, please bring more of Ambassador Jaja. Ambassador Jaja can be here every day. I'm very grateful that we that I have him like my perfect backup, and he is ready. He has been ready from day one. Call him at midnight on issues relating to humanity, to civility, to world, to Africa particularly. Ambassador Jaja is ready 24/7.
Yeah.
All right.
Madam Susie.
Yeah.
You are doing great, and I hope if you keep this program and going forward, you will change a lot of things, and you will never believe. History always can be changed by just few things. You stick to it with determination, things will go. My question, I came back only for one reason. I listened to Tony, and I know Tony for so long, and he is a very good guy, speaking the truth. And Tony, one of the best musicians in South Sudan in the church. He's a pastor too. Okay, now Dr. Tony, he told us that who is everything behind our problem in Africa? He is a white supremacy. They do everything and they knew it. Okay, as soon as they know, is these people are behind our problem. What have they done to avoid this problem not to happen again? Because Tony knows very well. Tony, he speaks Arabic, and he knows in Arabic they said, the hole that let you fall, you cannot fall 2 times. If we knew there is someone behind us who is let us fall every day, what can we do? We cannot fall again.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, brother. And
yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you so very much. I think there's some things that I would just take upon to respond on it. Like, he's been saying this over and over and over, brother. It's just unfortunate that it's your first time of being here, and that's why you're even saying we can bring Ambassador Jaja a couple of times. He's been here from the beginning. We've been hosting the Pan-African Daily TV for 3 months and going now. And Ambassador Jaja is one of the superstars, so the voice of the voiceless, the ambassador, the peace ambassador. How you know him in Sudan, the whole world of Africa has never had the opportunity to have this kind of a voice, advocate, and Africans have never known him today. The world knows him. The world had known him. This same world that he's talking about had known him. They have been congratulating him, but now he's just telling us that it's all gone. And you keep asking, now we were doing it, now what should we do? Just take on this program, because if you heard the other brother said, it's not every cat that we're gonna let out of the bag here. What we're doing here is connecting ourselves together. And if we want a one-on-one policies, we're not gonna discuss here with you. But I keep in contact and I will give you the feedback. But you stay here for every update. You're going to see the word forward. Thank you so very much. Over to you, Ambassador Jaja. I think there were some other impressions coming up from the other colleagues before we finally close for today.
Yeah, I think I will just answer him because, as you said, this is his first time to see or to hear from us who are advocating not only for Africa, but we are advocating for the whole world and those who are in diaspora. Yes, the time has come for us to be a voice for the voiceless. We have been there with those Pio Lumumba Arikana in America. She's talking, Julius Malema, and other leaders of Africa. They are talking now. And as I said, the Western world is our problem. Yes, that's it. They are the ones putting their knees on our neck, and they have to get it off of our neck. These resources of ours, we are not enjoying it. And that's why we are not seeing a good education, good health. Our leaders, yes, they have been identified as a corrupt people, but in the Western world, there's too much corruption too. If you don't align yourself with whatever the interest they have, you are a bad boy for them. And that's why they do it. And they have to bring anybody that will give them whatever they need from the African resources, these minerals we have. The example of Congo is very clear. I have said it before. If you go to Eastern Congo, the largest airport, the big airport where you see the big cargos are flying out from Congo, is in Congo, Eastern Congo. And the area is 50 kilo by 50 kilos, the largest one. In another country. And the people who are enjoying it, they are Western countries, the big companies. When you don't see Shell, Chevron, BP, all these big companies, let me tell you the truth. 2016, I was in a meeting with the European Union ambassadors, and we were discussing some economic issue of South Sudan. I remember on the 16th November 2016. And the ambassador of British is called Tim Morris. I think if this video goes to him, he will understand. And I was telling them, I will never be satisfied that South Sudan will live at peace if I don't see you ambassadors with your wives and your children, and you are taking them into school inside the country, like other countries that you go. Ambassador Tim Morris is a British ambassador. And he said, our companies are not operating in South Sudan. Now you understand me. That's why I say the West is the problem. If ambassador of the UK, the British ambassador saying our companies are not operating in this country, you are in problem. And it was meanwhile Dutch Royal Company is an oil company. BP is an oil company. And you know them, these are multi-billionaire companies. They are not small companies.
Mm-hmm.
And these companies, if you don't give them chance to operate, you are in chaos. You are in problem. That is why you have seen Chinese coming down and operate all these oil companies in Africa. Because the big companies are more demanding. If you give them, they will take 50%. Even they can give you 20% and they take 80%. You have to stay.
It's good. Oh, all right. I think we lost him again. And yeah, I don't know, but it looks like we lost him. And yeah, okay.
Stand to stop all this chaos. The Agenda 2063 is agenda of looting the Africa again, keeping you until you reach until 63. Do not allow Africa to go another decade without being developed and without taking its own powers and sovereignty. And this is what we are fighting for. This is what we are standing for. The Africa.
Okay. Thank you. We are really at the end of this program, and we even 6 minutes into it or 8 minutes into it already, and we just lost Ambassador Jaja again. I think yes, technical issues or electricity, as you can understand, on the continent, anything can happen. But it's a pleasure being here, and actually we are 8 minutes into the program. We should have been close by now, but because of this very interesting and educative program, we pull it further. So we're going to call it a date today, and thank all of you for tuning in, and ask you to join us tomorrow with Mapongwa Joshua on this topic: did Jesus die for Africa? So I look forward to getting you engaged in this conversation. And the first thing that we're doing, or we are having as a solution for us Africans in the new Africa, is our mindset. How can we start unlocking the potentials of us seeing Africa differently? How can we unlock the potentials of us loving Africa, investing in Africa, having the confidence in Africa again? So I want to thank you so very much for being on this program tonight. Is Ambassador Jaja there? All right. Yeah, Ambassador, just finish. I thought that maybe a light or something, power went out. Give your finish your statement, and we conclude, and we're done for today. Thank you.
I just want to thank you once again, Susan Tata, for this opportunity again, for sharing our thought together, and all the people who have asked questions and they got answers. And I want just to say that we have to continue to push the agenda of the United Africa, the agenda of the economic independence, the agenda of Africa Health Organization we establish, the agenda of the Monitoring Fund of Africa, not just to be with the International Monitoring Fund, the agenda of establishing our own bank as African Bank, not African Development Bank. Yeah, because that African Development Bank has been owned by others, but we have to have our independent African bank. And now South Africa, they have joined with India, with Russia, with Brazil, and they have formed what is called BRICS Bank, and they put goals there, a reserve to secure the currency. But the time has come, we have all the resources and the minerals where we can have trillions and trillions of dollars every year that our economic should bring it up and to make Africa and the continent of Africa strong. I know some leaders, this video will go to you, whether you are a king or president in Africa, or those opposition leaders who will become one day leaders of Africa in their time, that let us stand for Africa and let us reject what is negative for us. And let us receive what is good for us. And the time has come to restructure ourselves and to rewrite and to have a new bilateral agreements as a continent. We should not be called as a union, a partner to Security Council. You should not be called as a partner. You are a member. A member is not a partner. When you become a member, you are a member of that institution, but not as a partner. And when we are a member, that is mean we are equal. We have to restructure and reform the Security Council, and we have to reform the African Union, that to fit the interests of the continent, not individuals in the West, not the interests of America, not interests of Russia or China or France or UK, but the interests of the continent. Niger is there, South Africa representing us in the Security Council as non-permanent seat. Kenya is going next year by 2020-2022. But in 2023, as they have promised, according to the application of 2005, that in 2023, that Africa is going to be a permanent seat, but we want to give that push for the permanent seat to be given to the continent, not to only countries that has been mentioned, whether South Africa or Ethiopia or Nigeria or Egypt. A country that is going to represent the continent is to work for the interests of the continent, not the interests of the region. And this is what we want to see.
Okay. All right. Thank you so very much. I think we had it. And thanks to your contribution, this educational session. Yes. Okay. Hello?
Yes, Susan.
Yes. Are you done?
Yes.
Because, okay. I'm sorry, because we've been switching and the connection has not been very stable. So thank you so very much, Dr. Tony. And of course, this is a place where you have always been. And thanks to you today, you were able to educate more than 10,000 that have watched this program in just 2 hours. And by the week, we're going to be reaching out to more than 20,000 people on this episode for 2 hours. That is enormous. That is an enormous solution to Africa's problems. The daily conversations that we're having on the Pan-African Daily TV, we reach out to at least the worst case is 2,000 in 2 hours. And that is too much. That is too much education and information and empowerment and inspiration and the call for a united Africa. I want to thank you so much. Because of you, we can reach out to this target. And join us tomorrow for another edition of this. Hey, Dr. Dada, stay safe. And we're going to have you, if not next week, when something is breaking, you're the standby ambassador and the voice of the voiceless on the continent right now. So we wish you all a safe stay out there. The world is gradually opening, and we want to see you sometime very soon. We should be meeting ourselves face to face. And we wish you a good night. Good night. And good night to you out there.
Good night. Good afternoon to you, and good morning to others.
Exactly. And good afternoon and good morning to others out there. And we see us tomorrow, same time. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.